Guess what? I have some really good news to share with you today, and it's finally here. I'm talking about my new book. You've probably noticed me already trying to share about all the developments. It took a good couple of years, and I would say, roughly speaking, 800 to 1,000 hours to actually get it done of daily grind and showing up and just writing it up. But without further ado, let me show you exactly what's inside. And it's so good to actually have it in my hands finally, because it took so long to actually get it done. I think depending on the medium, let's say if it's an ebook, and you might have already gotten a copy of the ebook, around 400 pages, depends on the formatting again. The paperback comes out to 330 to 340 pages, and you can get a copy of it immediately. Let me just put it on the screen exactly where you can get it. And it's split into a few different parts. Where you are, where you're going, how to get there, what to do once you get there. Because it represents your journey into UX. It's kind of like a slow burning at first, but when it takes up the speed. And one of the first reviews, in fact, was that it just, the speed just increases and intensity increases throughout it. Ultimately, it was intended to be that way so that you don't overreach. If you need to learn, for example, how to demonstrate the evidence, and meaning craft a portfolio, you should first go through those steps and capture enough evidence. Understand what UX is, so you don't, fool yourself, or you focus on areas which you don't really need ultimately. If you follow that step, chances are you're gonna get to the job, and then you can build forward momentum, which is basically just optimization of how you do design. What I did with the ebook, it was an MVP. It was that minimal viable product, so to speak. And to be entirely honest, the changes in a physical book are more so the typos. The content is exactly the same. I think other bits which I'm gonna highlight as well is the reading experience. So as you know, if you compare the two mediums, I just wanted to design the user experience of the actual reading to be representative of a medium. On a digital, you can zoom in on images, let's say. On a paper, you can't, and therefore in a paper you might have an image which is just split to fill in a page, let's say, or it's designed to be vertical rather than horizontal. Or one of the quick examples which I can just pull out immediately is that I'm asking you to flip and rotate the book for you to easily read in the detail, let's say, because the infographic is just so large. It's still the same book. It doesn't matter which one you get, and I really hope the distributor network actually gonna update it with the newest file, and so your ebook can just be re-downloaded. Try to check if where you purchase your ebook actually allows you to do that. And it's visually reinforced, so that you can actually not just read through it, but have some sort of activities in it. Like this, for example, in the beginning of the book, I'm asking you to go through a basic list of UX and then self-evaluate, so you don't fool yourself again and know exactly what you can do with it. Because if you're struggling to get into UX, one of the biggest mistakes is gonna be that you just maybe overreached or didn't understand the fundamentals enough, or you cannot market yourself effectively. Maybe you know it well, but the hiring managers it just maybe doesn't come across that way. And that could be yet another thing which you might need to consider, basically. And I've gotten a question, let's say, is this specific marketplace for books gonna list it? Or can I purchase it somewhere in, let's say, Nigeria, in African regions? Ultimately, a lot of it is out of my hands. As an author, as a self-published author, I'm allowing any library, any store, any book place or marketplace to list it, but it's up to those marketplaces to say, yes, I wanna sell this. Ultimately, I'm not making almost any money. I'm making $1 per copy if at that. I want to distribute this and for it to be available to as many people as possible, because again, this is giving back to a community instead of kind of like almost like a business venture for me. If it would be that, I wouldn't do it to begin with. It's way too costly and way too many hours spent, if that makes sense. And I'm being very honest. If you can try to Google, try to look for the marketplaces you're already using to get books. That's the first and foremost. Again, the only thing what I do have control is Amazon, because that then lists Book Depository and other marketplaces can sell through it, as well as myself. I can list immediately the paperback and you can just get it right out of the bat, basically. And another quick question from one of the viewers was, is audiobook planned? To be entirely honest, I kind of thought about about it, but a lot of it is quite visual, or a lot of it is quite hard to explain apart from maybe the key principles. I might contradict myself because in the book I also state about the fundamentals, the first principles, something you need to know before you actually get into UX. So some of it can definitely be explained. Again, if you want it, do let me know in the comments, because this is almost like an iterative approach to this product, just like I did with the ebook. Now I'm doing it with a paperback. Maybe you want to have it as a video course. Do let me know. I'm happy to consider it. There's a lot of advice on how to optimize your social learning, the actual project work of UX, and how to capture the evidence. There's a massive section of the portfolios to actually understand who your users of a portfolios are. So you're not just there to impress your peers, but actually make a portfolio which lands you a gig, a job, how to craft the stories itself, how to model case studies, what's the most important in the case studies, what good looks like, how to get the job, and so forth. And one of the questions, or rather maybe error suggestion or a bug fix request, was the broken links, because a book has a lot of links. In paperback, as you can see, we have QR codes, so you can scan it and watch it while you read it, let's say on different devices. If you encounter any broken links, be patient. Try to see if you can update the ebook, if you can get the latest version of it. If you certainly cannot get it, do let me know. Try to contact me on design community, on the Discord community, or email me. Again, it's going to take some time for me to get back because I get so many requests. All the different mental blockers you might encounter while trying to get the job. And then more importantly is the interviews. There's just so much out of your control ultimately. You can prepare and optimize your chances of doing things, but when it comes to that, you also have a lot to consider, and this helps you to optimize those chances. There is a lot in this book, as you can see. There is just so much information, and I hope you actually pick it up. As you can see, it's a paperback and it's quite thick at that, right? And I try to keep the paper. I don't know if this is gonna do it justice, but the paper is very standard. I try to make this book so you can literally rip it apart, so you can note down. So you wouldn't feel bad about using it. I would even suggest you to cut out the segments and stick it where you can actually see it every day to remind you. You know, there's a lot of bits here which were meant for you to rip apart. And again, I want you to use it. I want you for it to fall apart within like a few months. Use it and abuse it because it's meant to do that. That's why I didn't want it to make it a hardcover. I didn't want it to be a premium paper, let's say. I wanted it just to be something you can get value immediately. And again, the idea of this book was to answer as many questions as possible for growing designers, be it your entry designer or career change, or maybe you're a senior who needs to reflect or see exactly how to best interview, let's say, because a lot of advice here is fundamental, which can be applied at any level whatsoever. Share with a friend as well who might be considering getting into UX or is struggling with, or gift them that. You know, the holiday season is around the corner. Doesn't matter when you watch it, there's always an opportunity to gift something which is actually has a lot of utility to it, so maybe it's gonna unblock them. And on that note, I'll see you next time. It's finally here. That's when you... Guess what? No. Can't when you're here. Guess what?
Well, it is
okay. Wait. Okay. Guess what? It's finally here. Throw it so it doesn't just like throw at me.
Yeah. But then can I throw it close?
Yeah, fine. Guess what? It's finally here. Well, I'm actually looking for it. Try again.